Thanks for everything you brought up there, Jalal. That this is a wonderful discussion.
I would like to ask Mr. Keshe about something the people here asked, but in a way, we would like Mr. Keshe to answer it. What is the moon in this five cups, and what is the influence of the moon? I know a lot about the moon, but Mr. Keshe is here, he can explain it very well.
Moon has no effect on the cups. It's part of the field which makes the cups. Because the moon effect is the same as the other, what is in the environment. What's the effect of Jupiter? What's the effect of the sun? We consider when you make these cups, all these are calculated or assumed to be part of. You got to understand that we make materials partially more in different parts of the moon cycle, what we call annual cycle. And we make some more materials more on certain positions of the day or night in certain part of the earth. When you consider these things, moon does not count, because everything else is considered to be part of, is inclusive. This is somewhere in the teaching we have taught before. We see production of certain materials more in the winter time or in the summertime in the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. All these assumptions, all these calculations now has a system for it to be tested. We never had a system. The material production system is in so many ways test for creator conditions of be it Jupiter, be it Saturn or whatever. In the future, the enhancement unit material will be designed in a different way. But you don't have only reactors of the specific characteristics on the wall of the reactor, but in the spaces, we can replicate when so many stars or so many planets are in line, what effect will have on Earth. Now we have a real system which we can control. We can see the world of cosmology with the enhancement unit, the material or the body one will change once the scientists get enlightened. You can now replicate the position of the stars, not just by the way it used to be, the old way, where the moon goes and where the Earth is or whatever. We can create the gravitational magnetic field of every star, every planet, and see what effect has on Earth when they are in line. Now this is not the material enhancement unit, is not just making materials anymore. Opens a new horizon in the world of cosmology. Now we can replicate their fields and see their effect. We can control their speed of rotation. We can do everything. The enhancement units in the lab, or now in the exhibition, while there is no one there, are getting improved, changed. Every week, 2 days has been allocated We open only 3, maybe 4 days to public. 2 days are left for what we call development. There's a lot to be developed. We already are developing the new structure, new process in it next 2 weeks. Now it's not just seeing what happened when Moon or Mars or whatever are in line with Jupiter. With this process now we can replicate galaxies, because man has never considered galaxies to be part of their work. But they have effect on our weather, they have effect on the way our sun behaves. With these new enhancement units, now a new cycle of cosmology, astronomy starts. Now we have a system, we can measure the fields. We can measure the fields and replicate the field of the moon on Earth. In the next couple of, maybe by end of this week, part of the exhibition will change. Maybe by early next week, we'll see new phenomenon in the exhibition. This is a live exhibition, which means continuously we create new parameters.
What if you put infrared camera inside it and see what is there moving?
Don't need to. We have a system now we can measure. Infrared doesn't show everything. There is a news press release coming out of one of the international, what you call, news agencies within the next 24 hours. And it will bring and start the process of introducing this technology worldwide. Every news agency by end of this week will receive a fully made setup broadcast for it, and will attract new knowledge, will attract new scientists who will start. A lot of people have been waiting for us to show this, and now we have, and it has opened a new horizon.
Mr. Keshe, this is Yvonne. If you were going to give a prediction for the coming month for the next, for the technology, what would it be?
We have past prediction because now with this exhibition, we are working with in real time.
What do you mean by real time?
What has happened up to now? Keshe Foundation was only on the internet, and no mass media was allowed to get hold of. Pedophile groups like Wiki, which are fully controlled by the same group as before, they took charge. Now we have received massive support by non-Fox News group. You will see this in the coming that now the dimension of the Keshe Foundation will change. One of the reasons we were growing so rapidly till 2012, 2013 was because we, even with a black blanket cover by the Belgians, there were a lot of newspaper articles. There were a lot of articles around the world in magazines about the foundation. And that's how we grew rapidly. Now we're going back to that, but in a very big, different way. Chinese news broadcasting will report on Keshe Foundation in the coming days on the exhibition. Middle East will be covered. I have given the interviews. Articles been sent, the videos of the foundation exhibition has been done within the next 24 hours. Keshe Foundation will go on to international news, bypassing Fox. We're waiting for the final approval and hopefully it'll be received tomorrow. Everything has been done. RTL will report it, but we're waiting for one final approval. It's all been done, all been set out. And if we get our final approval tomorrow, which we've been told is 90% possible, we come out and the situation for the foundation goes back pre-19, let's call it 2012. We are not a small organization, we are fairly large known, but people have worked so tight. You got to realize if you go on the Keshe victims or Keshe facts, whatever, there's an article. A lot of information in that article is given directly by those who we thought we looked after so close till a few weeks ago. They're part of this article writing. Because the information they are given was only between two people. Only could got on the paper if one would have spoken. This, we had a huge spy right in the heart of the Keshe Foundation. Now you see things change.
I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that.
We hope so. We will see how things will work around the foundation. The foundation would have been a massive organization if what we call Fox was partially owned by the structure, which is partially connected to one country, yes, wouldn't have done what they've done. Now we're taking it out of their hand. And if it goes through in the next 24 hours, we've been told it'll be done, then you will see a different Keshe Foundation. But we have to wait and see. We have a massive media opposition made by a bunch of pedophiles and prostitutes. And many times I was wondering how they preempt my work, they preempt what I'm doing, preempt what was going on, and what I call pillow talk was passed on. Many times I was wondering how things come to stop. Now this hopefully is over. The foundation is in a different structure. We don't have an enemy within. The English have a beautiful word for it. They call it the spy in the cap, if you know what it means. The spy in the cap was well trained.
My question would be, why were they allowed to stay so long?
I think you know that better. We say, keep your friends close and enemies closer.
Yes, it's a saying well known.
The position with the knowledge is from this week, next week. Now that we have shown the systems, massive developments will be released in next months to come. And what was, in a way, was not released will be released, because now that we have opened universal systems, we will deliver many technologies which is hidden inside, which changes the whole course of technology. And as I said, the new field generators will be employed in the exhibition. The new heartbeat system will be deployed. The new flight systems will be shown. We set to set up in the next few weeks in the exhibition, not in the first couple of weeks, the production of materials to show, because a lot of people would like to see it. And then this will start changing things. We will teach how you fly within the structure of the universe, which man does not know yet. Getting up 1 kilometer for us is a lot of hassle with the runway and a lot of fuel. And now we want to travel the depth of the universe.
Well, one of the things I would like to see an end to is the coronavirus, and I hope that before the end of this year it can be tackled in a very strong way.
Coronavirus is it's not just a corona, there are a combination of other things. combination of new viruses which are coming in.
They are now introducing these, or
We
this is man-made,
it's
or
a
it
it's a
is
mutation. It's a mutation. It's literally a mutation of the viruses. And what we see and what will come up most probably.
but not hands dabbling in this.
There is a problem at the moment. The problem sits in how and who is playing the game and how they want to play this game.
They just want to hold the world to ransom, I feel.
We do not know, but we have to work the way we are, and gradually, now that the technology is shown in one nation and we have made it free for them to come and see, the knowledge will change. The share of knowledge will change. You got to know why, or you got to understand why I opened the Austrian exhibition to the Austrian nation. American nations don't like to be behind the Austrians, and the same the British and the French. We played this card with a USB stick, if you remember. We gave it to one government, and the other one wanted because the other one had it, and now the other one had it because the other one had it. Now, we've done the same with the Corona, with what we call it, the exhibition. The exhibition is free to Austrians and is going nationally advertised. And we'll see how many Germans and the French and the Dutch want to be in the exhibition, because in certain part of the exhibition we start teaching. When the scientists from Austria or the government turn up, they'll be taught.
Have the universities there got any indication yet?
That was left to the hand of the Universal Council.
I see.
That is their job. They were requested to handle this, not us. Foundation job is to deliver technologies. Universal Council job is for it to be known by the souls and the people. And in that way, both get done. I had a discussion with the head of the Keshe Foundation about this, that the foundation, she wants the foundation to be financing the research, and the manufacturing arm just produce, and the Universal Council to do the spread of the knowledge and the development of the soul of the man as part of their bargain. She doesn't want any of the Keshe Foundation, or what you call it, any assets of the factories to go towards the research. She sees that the Keshe Foundation has to finance it. And in a way, she's right. You take a big chunk of the, what we call returns, and so we finance. And so part of the financing it is allowing new technologies within the structure of our knowledge to be developed. So this is the way most probably we go, because that's her wishes. That the research will be done, all the financing of the new technology development will come from the foundation, where the manufacturing arms will see the development and expansion of the factories through their own finances. And we'll see how it will go. Now we we cover the nation of Austria heavily with advertising and spreading of their knowledge for people to come. It starts within the next 12 hours. And we'll see where we go. We start mass coverage in Austria from tomorrow.
Looking forward to hearing it and watching it, Mr. Keshe, finally. I'm so happy about that.
Yes, you can now go to just 1 second, please. From tomorrow, you can go and literally register to attend, if you're Austrian, the meeting. We will respond accordingly as the situation arises. And you got to realize that we asked the Universal Council to cover all the universities, major corporations, and everything else in Austria. And apparently they have divided between themselves who's going to do what. And the Austrian company will take charge of the mass publication.
I think everyone here's thoughts and best wishes are with you.
It's got to be with the foundation. It's not me anymore. And I hope we'll see the change, because up to now it was what we call a dream. Now it's a reality, physically on the floor.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, from dream to reality.
It is when you see the videos which are coming out, released by the international press tomorrow. Number of videos was made by the Keshe Foundation Austria over the past days, and now is in the hand of the international media. We don't show it in public. They'll be released tomorrow, and we'll see if we can get those two. It'll put a lot of enlightenment on the whole structure. There is a lot of work going on in the background. One of the biggest problems we had, as I said, has left the foundation. And once the situation resolved, we'll explain, as I said before, how it was planned out and how it was supposed to bring the Keshe Foundation to close. Now is what I said, is re-strategizing. And with what we've done now, once we break through the first banner or line of the medias internationally, the whole thing will break loose. Everything will break loose. And we've got to wait and see.
I think this is what we're all waiting for.
We were waiting for what we had the enemy inside, who wouldn't let it happen. The Belgium inside was working for Belgium inside.
So it wasn't just power hunger to take
Combination.
over.
Combination. Take over and shut down.
Water under the bridge, learn from and pass on.
We'll see. We have to keep quiet.
Mr. Keshe, today we talked about positioning, and what you're talking about is repositioning. It's amazing how that's coming together. Thank you so much.
It's
Thank you,
not
Mr.
just
Keshe.
us. It's all of us. As I said, it's all of us. Now we had at the head of the foundation one of the most, what I call, true knowledge seekers. The two heads of the Keshe Foundation, both are of the same. And at the same time, we have so many knowledge seekers who stay true to the ethos, and we'll see. As long as you ask and you're given, you never go wrong. Doesn't matter what arises. And I always ask, and people don't understand it. If you ask with sincerity, you will be given. If you ask for the opening of the technology with sincere heart from the heart of the Universal Council or the rest, it will be given. The problem we have had is whatever we sought was destroyed step by step, step by step. Now it's not there anymore. Now it's us, and we can do it till we find who else was or who within the foundation.
I think there'll be many people coming forward to take care of positions.
We
And I
have to
hope
wait
that
and
they are
see.
gifted with the right qualities. That is my sincere wish.
It's the time when we see. And also we have to bring an insight, a new insight, and be able to show it and deliver it. And this is what's going to start to happen. Now we have an international arena to cover it. This project now, it costs tens of thousands a month for Keshe Foundation. And we are not receiving any support from anyone to cover it. It's done on the back of the foundation. We are doing it. It's done by what comes in to keep. But with this exhibition going for 2-3 months, we are able to show in public the new technologies. We are not anymore on the internet or in somewhere there is something. And if we get the release and support, we hope, and covering it internationally within the next 24 hours. There is no way to stop.
I saw that you did have at the exhibition some of the products. Are you selling them there, or are they just being shown?
Yes, no, products have been shipped and produced in the factories to be. We shipped a massive amount of stock. And
So there is
if
a good amount of stock to sell there at the exhibition, which would be an encouragement for people to go.
yes, but there is a lot of things. These all come from the factories. We produce whether it's produced and delivered within the shop is, or Keshe Foundation shop is there on the floor.
That's wonderful. Great news. I'm sure many of the visitors will appreciate that.
We have to wait and see by the end of the week and the following week how we get response from the Austrian public. And it works on the efficiency of the Keshe Foundation followers. We need huge support to run this project, financial support by the foundation. This is not a small space and not a cheap way to run, but it had to be done this way. Keshe Foundation Austria needs literally on Austrian knowledge seekers to handle the people, to be able to explain to them the technology in German language. There's a lot of things to be done. It's not a small factory, it's a National Exhibition Center.
Mr. Keshe, do you have any updates on Arizona?
As far as I know, should be ready soon. John is working on it. Once we see the final finished product of Arizona in next maybe, I think a month or so, and we start shipping goods out in November, or hopefully to be and arrives there to go, then you see the full picture. But Arizona is not finished yet. John's still working on it. That'll become the blueprint for the rest of the Keshe Foundations around the world. To run the exhibition properly, the way we want to do it, it costs around, with all the expenses, everything between 50 and 100,000 euro per month. Covering all the advertising, covering everything else, and all the expenses. And Foundation has not received a penny support from any knowledge seekers, very little. To run it for next 3 months, you're talking at least about $250,000. But it's the risk we have to take and take a chance on it. And hopefully, as we've seen, we'll start bringing more people to understand, to add the knowledge.
Mr. Keshe, with respect to that, has a banking institution been, because that's what I've always seemed to see the problem is that for, at least for the Americans, is how to get the money to the Keshe Foundation. And prior there was a way to do it through the store in Arizona, but now that's gone also, isn't it?
No, you can pay to the foundation. There's never been a problem receiving money to the foundation. The bank account, the foundation is there. We are legally recognized, and we always use that account. The factory is different. but the foundation as a foundation has always been open. Never
What I
been
meant was there.
You can do it through PayPal.
Is that an option now?
PayPal goes to the Keshe Foundation Austria. Yes, you can put it as a donation. But you can pay directly to the Keshe Foundation account. Never been approved. We are approved because we are approved by the World Bank to operate as a foundation. And we can receive any amounts. There's never been a problem with the foundation. There is a problem with the manufacturing because they want to know what you manufacture. But any donation to the foundation has been for 15 years. We never had a problem.
Well, what I meant is that it's always in euros, and so for Americans they have to do a dollar to euro transfer.
Doesn't matter. It's done the same. It's done the same. We always had the same. We can put a dollar, automatically gets changed within the structure of the banking system for us.
Well, what I meant was when I tried to purchase things before, I couldn't do it.
The foundation donation is on the link. I'll put it there. You can always do it. It's impossible. We never had a problem. I've never heard people not being able to buy from the store. If it is, you got to find out why you can't do it, or you go through PayPal.
It was interesting because the only way that I was ever able to purchase something was through the Keshe Foundation store in Arizona. I always tried to do it the other ways, and it never went through for whatever reason.
You have to find out why. The best way, because as donation goes to the Netherlands, what I've been sending message, I put it up that you can't read it. It says, read the text as a checkout steps for purchasing. You have to follow the steps which are at the checkout. But with the donation, it's not purchasing. There's never been a problem. We receive donations from Amazon's payments on a regular basis from sale of the books.
Yeah, I don't know if it was blocking, if something was blocking me from being able to do it. It never get to that point where I could do it.
No, purchase is different than donation. You purchase the material from the now Austria or Chinese company. We will update you on the Chinese very soon. We'll link the Chinese Keshe Foundation to the list because Chinese are having different products. But we usually have no problem.
Yeah, I think Ed said that it had to be done by a wire transfer. That's what I kept seeing.
It could be that some US banks don't accept transfers to Keshe Foundation manufacturing in Austria. And some do, but if we do it with the wire transfer, it's the same, but donation has to go to the foundation, not to the manufacturing side of Austria. They're two different things totally.
Yeah, I think there was an issue even when we tried to become knowledge seekers in private teaching, couldn't get the funds to go through.
It shouldn't have been I've never heard it's the first time I hear it. We know with the KF manufacturing could be, but with the foundation, there's never been a problem up to now. Because I see it continuously when Amazon pays us end of each month for the book sold.
Just use PayPal. PayPal works.
This operation of the exhibition has to be kept in this level for at least 3 to 6 months as a permanent exhibition. That the technology goes beyond being on the internet, people around the world come to see it.
So that means that different products will be shown at different times and more products will be coming into the shops.
We are targeting around about 3 to sometimes 8 products a month.
Oh, that's nice. Good.
If you notice in past few months, we're adding step by step every month, 2, 3, 4 items, sometimes more items. But the Keshe Foundation China is now mainly responsible for this.
Well, I hope other areas will be setting up soon, the manufacturing.
Nigeria is going to go to manufacturing before end of this year or beginning of next year sometimes. And we'll see how we expand. Iran is going into a very massive development of manufacturing in the next 3 months. Now we've been recognized as an independent foundation.
And what about the States? Is that going to sort of take?
The state stays the same as an enhancement research center, or what you call it, clinic. We have to structure state in a different way.
Well, it's so large, I would have thought that you'd need to set up many there.
We're waiting for the new administration. We're waiting for the new administration.
Well, I hope that goes well.
We'll see. We're just there as part of it to see, okay.
Mr. Keshe, this is Ed from Indiana. May I ask you how long you're going to be present at the Linz Exhibition?
I am not present anymore.
Ah.
We were responsible to bring it up and show it. Unless there's a special program or whatever we organize, I'll be there. We're traveling soon to Iran in the first week of October. I travel to Iran and we have received invitation from CPC to travel to China in October. We have a small issue with China, and that is we have to stay 14 days in quarantine. And we're trying to get it waived, but the CPC cannot do much. This is the problem we have with China. And once we go to China, between China and Iran, a new industrial link will set up that will bring a lot of things. Chinese need their space technology to be developed a new way. And as I have received clearance to work with the military of China, which is very unique, we try to bring the both sides of the Iran and the Chinese together.
So in Linz, I would have thought that the presence of the enhancement machines required, I mean, people will have some in-depth questions, and we have people qualified to answer them.
We have a qualified people, of course. My job is to structure, to set up, and move on to the next project. It's the job of the people who are within the structure to see his delivery. And its delivery is in the hand of the, what we call the knowledge seekers, who gradually learn and develop and explain. We'll see the reaction of the Austrian public within the next 30 days. The budget, just to keep advertising ongoing, runs about between 25 to 30,000 a month, minimum. And once we cover the Austria, the rest of the nations will go with it. We have received a request from the Iranian government to ship the 2 units into Tehran for a public demonstration in Tehran Sharif University. We go to Iran, they estimate between 5 to 10 million people will visit. This is the consideration we have to ship the 2 units into Tehran, or build 2 units to be shown in Tehran. This will be concluded this week with the Iranian, what we call leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for answering my questions.
You're welcome. We try to stay very transparent and very clear. And we need to be able, now that the exhibition is ongoing, to show the continuous development in technology, sustainable at the same time.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Sonia from Spanish group. Do you listen to me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I would like to ask you some things about salt, different kind of salt that we use in the cups. I hear that you use magnesium, citrate magnesium. Can I use, chlorium, I think, magnesium. Can I use citrate magnesium instead of the
For
other?
what purpose?
I don't know. I have in my house. I am new here in this technology, and I hear that instead of salt, sodium, some use chlorate magnesium. And I have in my house.
You can use any of the 12 salts. Actually, altogether, there are about, to last calculations, there's something like 2.5 million combination of salts.
Mm-hmm.
And each one gives different, plus on top of it, the salinity. What's the percentage of it? And true estimate of salts combination runs in around about 40, 50 million plus. And
Okay,
man only uses 1 or 2. what you want to use, what salt you have, and for what purpose you put it to be done.
Okay, so I have a lot of citrate magnesium here in my house for my health.
Yes, but what would the citric chloride salt will give you?
Sorry, I didn't understand you.
What would the salt you use would give you? What is the product? What are you expecting to create from it?
I would like it to my health. I know that citrate magnesium is better absorption in the body than the chloride, but I don't know what is the difference in the cups.
Citrate magnesium has a specific effect and for a specific organs.
Yes.
And you have to understand why you're using it.
I have used
Sodium chloride is common denominator with many organs. If you use it as a general base, you will reach certain organs only.
Okay. Here I see some questions from the Spanish group. One is why the wiki in English is not correcting the part of the nano and the connection of the LED. Still not still showing the wrong position there. And
this is something which has been there to be corrected.
Yes, it would be better if it is correcting well, but well. And the other question.
Let me explain to you. The
yes.
LED in there is correct if you look at it in a different direction that was originally written, but to a lot of you or people is not connected the right way. In so many ways, it's correct. In so many ways, to a lot of people, it's not correct. I asked it to be corrected some time ago, the way that most of the people understand.
Mm-hmm. Because the new ones can get incorrectly or in a bad connection.
No, there is no problem in the GANs produced.
Okay.
It's just you produce GANs of the other material more than the one you want.
Does the Does the caps refers to chakras? It's a question here.
No. Many
okay.
times we're asked this, no.
Well, thank you for the answers.
You're welcome.
Mr. Keshe. Lizzie is here. Lizzie is here asking something. In cup 5, in the cup of the planet, the last one from the bottom, if a person lives on floor 2 upwards, they should put this last cup inside with earth, metals, quartz, or it does not matter. I don't know if you understand. I don't know if you understand the question here. I read the question from Lizzie.
What does it say?
In the last cap, the cap number 5, if a person lives in the second floor,
Yeah.
upwards, does this last cap put in the earth metals?
I don't understand.
No, I don't understand, Lizzie. Please, if you can ask Mr. Keshe here. Thank you.
More instead of iron, copper,
Pardon?
and zinc nano coating. Instead, there is more plate instead of copper nano, iron nano, and zinc nano. Putting the other elements in the cup of number 5, like quartz minerals, and the other things. Added more plates inside of cup number 5.
You can put anything in cup number 5. No. Cup number 5 has to stay the way it is.
Thank you. You are clarify the question.
Mr. Keshe, hi, it's Dean here from the UK. Can I ask you a quick question regarding the Linz exhibition? As the soul of the exhibition, if you've connected with the souls present, the media, the souls of Austria, souls of all the souls that are going to be present, have you connected with them so that they feel the exhibition that it means it will be a beautiful success for humanity?
This exhibition will be remembered for years to come, the presentation of these two units, because it shows a new way of thinking, a new ethos, a new knowledge. And as I said, the reactors in one of the units is set for flight. And if comes to it, we will fly in the exhibition center. It's been loaded to fly. We put it down as a material unit, but as I explained to before, these systems, when I loaded it, I loaded the reactors for flight system. When you can do the flight, you can do everything else. And the loading sequential on the reactors, in all the reactors, carry the soul of the wishes of the head of the Keshe Foundation embedded in them, which is for peace, and with it is set to fly. It takes me maybe 5 minutes to fly one of these units. You got to understand something very, very simple. As I explained to the Russian delegation, if you look at the two reactors which were developed and flown in Iran 12 years ago, you see a replication of it in the center of the material production system. Exact copy of it. And I always said that the Iranian reactor always flew in Iran. If you see it, we are not joking. The game of the space technology is in the hand of Iran.
Está en las manos de Irán.
If you see,
Así que si lo ven,
if somebody is online, can you please close your microphone? If you go to and understand the technology, and if you would have gone through the process, I am missing something. Just 1 second, please. I have to go somewhere and look for something and come back. Just wait 1 second, please. If you look at these two pictures, which I'm going to show you, you should have got a clear message, very clear message, that we are in with a big game. These two pictures, this is the reactor, the Iranian reactor, which is in the show. 15 centimeter, flown numerous times in Iran, numerous times. And this is the reactor in the exhibition. I don't play games.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And by the way, that's a very beautiful picture of you. You're looking very handsome there, and very, very well.
Don't forget, I'm now, what do you call it, trying to explain the technology the way it presents itself to come.
Mr. Keshe, I had one question which came up a day or so ago that I mentioned. Where does the material produce? Is it inside the unit or is it outside the unit?
Both.
So you have to put a special receptacle or a special sort of magnet to attract?
When we're in a magnet, we don't produce it still, we produce everything else.
Well, in the sense of magnet, I meant something to attract, not a magnet itself.
If you listen to the time when we showed the Chinese space reactor tested in Sanya, we produced materials around the flight system, outside. We created a lot of rain.
Ah. Well, I think some countries would definitely be in need of rain if a unit was put there.
Maybe.
So it would attract rain enough for perhaps a country that was parched.
Yes, but why do we have these countries? They have a purpose. You can create water over a field to water to create food. You don't need to change the whole nation.
Looking at it that way, yes. But if you've got, parched lands, it's a whole agricultural cycle that's affected.
There is enough land to feed 30, 40 times the present population of this planet on this planet without any problem. Secondly, time of feeding is over.
I hope that comes soon.
This is already
Really
here.
do.
The time will come that the feeding will be only for the rich. And not for the poor, because poor will be given what they need through the energies of the systems. There will be no man hungry. And those who want to eat, then they limit their lives to the physical dimension.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
From now on, there is a point of, pardon?
That's a thought to ponder for the future.
That's the reality which needs no pondering. It needs to pedal in and see.
Mr. Keshe, what more will it take for the unit to provide what you need to live in space without oxygen, other than more understanding and knowledge?
Well, you don't need oxygen in the space.
Will a unit be displayed to prove that conceptually?
The unit is already on the floor.
So it is capable of doing that.
You give me a man, I'll put them in one of these units, and I'll keep him there 50 days, 100 days, without even putting a foot out. You will not give him to drink, and you will not correct any urine. And most probably he'll come out much happier than when he went in. Give me a man 1,000 days, I can keep him there. The system in these reactors are loaded to do so. As the old say goes, let the magic begin. Let the show begin. We need just a little bit more time. Don't forget, many of you were there, October 21st. The second cycle of 5 months starts. I have laid out exactly what I'm going to do months ahead, but you lot don't listen. 21st of October. The second cycle starts the 21st of March. And we are ahead of our target. We are ahead by about 3 weeks.
Mr. Keshe, it's Dean again. Will a man that enters this unit, will he experience universes?
Depends what the man wishes is.
So it'd be like when you soul travel, every time you go to sleep, you have that experience of being a soul traveler if you so desire.
If your desire is completion of peace, one of the knowledge seekers has spent quite a few minutes in this machine and no report of any feeling. Because the intention wasn't to feel anything, the intention was to do the job which was supposed to be done. These systems are set in a specific way.
So one man may need water, another man may want to soul travel, another man may want a physicality of some description somewhere else. So it really is down to the thoughts and intention of the soul being present.
In a way, a mechanic which goes inside the system and his job is just to change the system doesn't fix himself. If he doesn't have a cancer, he has got a problem with his son because he's not there to work through his process.
So with you saying that, then if a person goes in there with one single intent, you could receive that, but you would be wise to have more of a totality thought.
Possible.
Mr. Keshe, if you go in yourself and give us with your intention the knowledge to become more wise or to grow quicker, is that a possibility or other than what you're already doing?
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
If I wish to do that, it'll be done with the flip of finger. But you have to understand why the man has to change, not the magician to bring a new magic. That's what I always said.
If someone goes in there to give, will that be amplified to humanity?
You're already built in it from the soul of the head of the Keshe nation.
Okay, thank you.
One of the most beautiful souls within the foundation has put herself within the structure. As a mother, as a future holder of the future of the foundation. We made that very clear. The systems are built on the basis of peace and love and care, and with a true intention.
Mr. Keshe, it's Peggy. I've noticed Lee has had her hand up for some while. Can she ask a question?
I don't control that. It's not in my head who's behind. Who's controlling the hands?
Lee, go ahead and open your mic and ask your question, dear.
Thank you, Peggy. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for everything you teach and share. Last Knowledge Seekers workshop, you mentioned certain staff were preventing public access. I've been trying to get a response from the Keshe Foundation for 4 years. Do you have
what response? What are you asking to get a response?
I've had many questions about health applications and questions about student application. I've just never received a reply at all, ever.
Depends what people responsible for. If they don't see it appropriate, they don't answer. Many people get answers. Health has to go to the health section and is not answered by the foundation. It's answered by the medical team. And students, if you send it to the right place, KFSSI, if there is a need to answer, answer. That's very, you got to understand how much informed questions comes in and how much they can cover.
If I may, there is also one other possibility.
Of course, you would like to explain who you are first, please.
I would like to answer the question first. There is high occurrence of emails reaching up into spam and junk folders for the people, especially for domains as Gmail and so forth. So many times we hear that people haven't been answered, and when we go back and check, actually the emails were sent out. However, the emails reached those spam or junk folders, and usually those folders are cleared out by those mail providers in 30 days. So if in 30 days you haven't noticed that your junk or spam received that email, then it gets automatically deleted by that service provider. Depends on what settings you have as well. So make sure when you expect an answer from us to check also those folders, because you might miss the email that was sent to you already.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Keshe, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Who's
this is
speaking?
Ciro. Yeah, this is Ciro from Peru.
Yes.
I am currently helping with the translation on online translation from English to Spanish for the Spanish group. So I have a couple
Thank you very much
of.
for your help.
Oh, you're most welcome, Mr. Keshe. And we thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with the world. We are so deeply thankful to you, Mr. Keshe. Getting back to the couple of items we have as a Spanish group. First, we would love to have you on our Telegram workshops in Spanish, Mr. Keshe, just like you do for the Brazilian team, for the American team now. And our workshops are on Mondays or Wednesdays, and we can adjust our time depending on the disposal on your time, I mean, Mr. Keshe. So we would love to have you also on our workshop, Mr. Keshe. Please, please, please.
We try to help. We try to attend more. I was trying to attend the Brazilian teaching last Friday, Saturday, well, actually Saturday morning. But there's a limitation. I mean, I try to come here on the American teaching because they go everywhere and they invite everybody in.
Sobre la invitación al señor Keshe para nuestro grupo. Yes, Mr. Keshe, please go ahead.
Yes, it's if you set it up, we know what it is. We try to help to be there. It's what is available and time available.
So, Mr. Keshe, that would be on Mondays better for you, or Wednesdays better for you?
It is not that I'll be there all the time, like the other groups. Whenever we have time, we join in.
Okay, Mr. Keshe. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
It's just a
thank you very much.
process. Thank you. It's just a process where and how we can do. And sometimes we don't have enough time to rest, but it has to be done. And I try to attend as many knowledge seekers teaching or workshops as possible. But as you know, it depends how it is and how we can join in and when it is.
So, yeah, Mr. Keshe, so how can we know that, for example, you will be available for
it's just
coming
if
Monday?
you have time, if I have time, I just come in like this Sunday, American teaching Sunday afternoon is usually time. I have time because it's Sunday afternoon. On Brazilian, I haven't been there for nearly a month or so. Yesterday was the first time I actually tried to answer some questions. I go in, but it's 12, 1 o'clock. I usually go to sleep, and there's no time to do.
I see, Mr. Keshe, because I know we have time differences. It's about 7 to 8 hours from where we are located.
Let me have your workshop telegram. We try to join in on the Zoom. It doesn't matter. We already have a Keshe Spanish group, Krona. Put it up there when it is, if I see it, or through the website, let me know.
Mr. Keshe, you've been with us years back with us in the teachings we have on Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. your time.
Remind me if I'm there, I'll try to come.
Fine, thank you.
I was told last Monday I had to be in the Iranian channel, and even there were leaders of the Iranian government online. I was in a meeting, and if you attended it, you heard Iran head of security addressing the Iranian Keshe Foundation, Iranian as a whole in that program. The most powerful security man in Iran came on. They requested it, and the heads of nation were online. In the Monday, and I was requested to attend. Until I don't attend, they wanted to make a very clear cut. And in these situations, we attend. But last Monday's Farsi workshop was a shared for the Keshe Foundation within the Iranian structure, and we were requested to be. And pardon?
Will Keshe Foundation? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Will Keshe Foundation be given more hospitals in Iran for the coronavirus treatment? or it's not something you want to discuss?
We are Iranian structure layout now is set with the Iranian leadership. They are step by step, literally on an hourly basis, have started this dictating and deciding on the future of the foundation.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
We have moved as a we have moved as a what I call a number of knowledge seekers running into huge numbers to a well organized and fully under control of the people who know how to get the Keshe Foundation to be useful across Iran
Well, I
for the
hope
nation.
useful across the world, because the more doctors trained, it will become easier.
We have received the support of the Iranian leader and the apparatus of the leadership to train a large number of doctors in the coming days.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you
And
so much, Mr. Keshe.
it's the work of the Keshe Foundation in Iran. They have worked relentlessly. And it's job of hundreds and thousands of people who work and been there without failure. It's just the name of mine, but it's the trust and the work of theirs that I've accepted to teach. And hopefully with it we can teach more.
And they will be cataloguing some of the cases that they cover, so that they don't, so that
We are
new cases
waiting.
can be caught.
We have to see how the Iranian leadership sets Keshe Foundation to work. You see that what happened in Iran was a lot of Belgians broke into Iran through Mrs. Mohammadi. You saw her coming in and going rapidly up. That was another infiltration by the Belgians in the Keshe Foundation in Iran. They came in another group of 5. That group of 5 has gone under investigation and possible arrest within the next few hours or maybe days. Again, they were working in the background through the same process. And to stop these things, Iranian leadership has taken control over the Keshe Foundation, how we operate to become successful. The reason being that most of the Iranian leadership cups of life is on their table. Is not to sell because they save their lives and their families with it. And this is how we took root so rapidly in Iran.
Well, I think a lot of lives are on the table at this moment worldwide. So I just
You are
hope
Americans. There's something interesting I don't know, somebody posted in the American section about Sharon Stone. We all know her as an actress. She lost her grandmother and great-grandmother to corona in the past few days, according to her recording. And her sister and brother-in-law are on a critical list. I don't know if they're still alive. We are trying to get in touch with Sharon Stone in one way or another. If any of you Americans know how to do it. She has a lot of websites, a lot of management group or whatever agencies. I would like to get a hold of her if you can help in the American group. She used to be a famous actress. And she's a supporter of Harris. If any of you Americans know how to get hold of her, be very, very thankful.
What's the purpose of the communique to reach Harris? Is through Sharon Stone?
No. I want to get to reach Sharon Stone for her sister and brother-in-law. We have a reason. Good. With Harris, we have no problem. We can get our people walking into her office anytime.
So probably through Facebook or the Twitterverse, they could probably get a message to her.
Don't know if you know. There's got to be some other way. If anybody knows, I'll be interested.
Mr. Keshe, I have a question from one of the members of the Spanish group. Can I make a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
You're breaking up.
If you could please explain furthermore about the second phase that you have started in coming in next October.
The first phase is what we are going to trying to complete the matter state and human knowledge in one way and bring in the knowledge of the universal community the way we done, if you understood it, with the cup of what we call the vertical people and horizontal people. And from the second half, which is 21st of October, we set out to move towards the target of 21st of March, which bring the completion of the cycle of the what we call the present cycle, with the beginning of a life of a new child of the humanity. This will be well set out in time to come, which will change the course of humanity. I'll be very clear on this, and nothing will deviate from it. Nothing will deviate from it. And in that process, we will see the establishment of world peace. In that process, we will see establishment of the beginning of the end of hunger and everything else for humanity. Then we have a period to complete the cycle. And for the first time, will be a process of both development of the soul and physicality, which is the unique and for the first time. The second cycle starts the unification of the man's souls with his physicality and universal community. We are heading in that direction because the flight system to give the man the possibility to be able to fly within realms of the universe has to come into operation within the period. That's why we put this exhibition on, and that's why one of the reasons behind it has been to show these two units. The second cycle, which starts after 21st of October, will set everything ready for a new beginning, a new cycle, a new totality. And the basis for the second cycle has already started. It's so many things are in progress that by the time will come, will be completed. A lot of things took a very rapid shape by rapid departure of the people from the foundation in the past few weeks. We brought everything forward that we were planning. And for that process, we are moving very rapidly to make everything possible the way it is. The development of the new space technology, energy systems, teaching of the what we call universal technologies, which is unknown to man. But you have to understand, mankind have to understand these technologies. It's no use just throwing it at you when you don't understand it. Everything has been brought forward by weeks. And as I said, when the wish is there, the will is there, it will happen. I have never failed in what I set out to do, and this time will not be the first time. This is what I was explaining to knowledge seekers very past few days. I have put many seeds. I've set up a lot of things, which to you is why he leaves things and puts everything everywhere. Because in time, seeds are there for you to grow it to completion and finish. And we are entering a huge, beautiful cycle. And when the love of God takes over, nothing can stop. And we are in that cycle. The only change has been that we did not expect the move which happened 8 weeks ago until sometimes till beginning of October. It moved very fast. So we moved everything forward with it. The teaching in next few weeks we will see is never been even taught because man has never had the knowledge to understand. Now the systems are there, we can show it and then we can take you through it. How do you find your way in the universe? How do you come back home? How do you map up the universe? Not the way NASA is doing. It doesn't work. How do you get on board on our line of universal transformation? How do you transfer knowledge? If you go to the other side of the universe, how do you speak with the children at home? According to Einstein and the rest of it, it'll take you several billion light years. But the Keshe knowledge technology is instantaneous. Don't forget, the same guy said gases can only be seen at minus so-and-so temperature and under such and such a pressure. And all of you hold it in your hand every day as you drink it. Now we know who's collecting knowledge and technology. All this has to be taught in the next few weeks and months. And then teach the man the process of the development of the soul in a dimension of the soul itself. Then he mature to develop what we call the next cycle of souls and a new life, which can live both in both dimensions. At the moment the man lives in the physical dimension, and when he dies, the soul releases. On the other hand, in the universe, there's a the one who live in the dimension of soul, but have a problem to return to physicality or live both. For the first time, a life will be created which can live both and become the new cycle of the life on this planet and beyond. We can live in both dimensions at the same time, but both be aware and in control and live as one. We are here to create the first one, the first cycle. And we never take, we always ask and we are given.
Mr. Keshe? I wanted to ask you a question about something you mentioned a couple weeks ago, the change of phase, where I believe you said that it's not another state of matter per se, but it's a way of looking at how the GANs in a way is in a state of change, not that we see it, but it produces the energy that the state of change would require to, I don't know if I'm saying this, to make a change between the liquid and the gas or the solid. Can you talk about that at all? Or what am I missing about that?
Explain yourself.
Well, in the matter states, those are the four states of matter that we recognize. But between liquid and gas, there's a phase change where it goes between the liquid and the gas state, and how the energy that is released in that phase change. Now we've actually got that, from what I understand, we have that energy in the GANs, and how now it's about how we can direct it to do with what we want.
I think there is a very big gap of understanding, need to be understood, is that do you want to do the change in the state of a gas to liquid to a gas? Or do you want to go through the soul of the element and ask it to be done? Then do you need to heat the whole of the water in one bottle? Or by changing the soul of one, the rest will change. This is the new technology. If you understand it, if you want to boil the water, are you going to bring a heater to bring it to a temperature and burn something else to get to it? Or do you reach the soul of the element and ask it to please you to be in that level? That itself absorbs energy from the environment to be that level. You don't need any heater. This is where the state of the technology has to go. Do you still work to go from gas to liquid, or from liquid to gas? Or you satisfy the soul of that it changes for you instantaneously? And with all the waters of the universe, this planet will change into a gas by a wish of one. It's possible. Because it's not the physicality of boiling it to get to the other, it's the devotion of the giving by the soul. Don't forget what was said. Even the stone has a soul. So if you work through his soul, you achieve. You don't need a boiler and a hotter and God knows gas to boil it. This is a change of understanding. This is where man should learn more. And this is where the new enhancement systems will teach.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. The soul of one atom of hydrogen can fill in the universe. And its physicality may be a solar system.
Mr. Keshe, would I be correct in thinking that the new universal units will become our teachers?
In a way, yes. But the teaching will be on the universal level. It's to teach the soul, to elevate the soul. If you listen to the teaching on a Thursday, when we pull the camera back to see both the chair and the manufacturing unit center, I explained these are both souls. Both have souls. Now mankind has to go either way. You want to repair millions of cells, or do you want to enhance the soul that it repairs itself by receiving the energy?
I think first it would be peace that would be needed.
That will bring peace.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
The peace has come, mankind now has got to find a peace within himself. We have brought the world peace is there. It's nothing you can do anymore to bring man to war, but now it's the phase, it's that gap in between that we have to show people that with technology or whatever, everything has to change to a new dimension.
Mr. Keshe, this is Ed again. A few minutes ago, you referred to the creation of a new being that will happen, that will be able to live both at the soul level and in the physicality. I took that to mean that that be needed, the creation of a new state of being for that to happen. To what level, those of us who are alive now, to what level can we expect to develop?
What do you mean?
Well, I had just always assumed maybe that those of us present now on this earth could develop to that level where we could interchange between the soul existence and the physicality. But it sounded like to me earlier, a few minutes ago, you were referring to the creation of a new being that would be able to do that. Or was I mistaken?
Pardon?
Or was I mistaken? Did I not hear correctly here?
Explain exactly what you think you're mistaken.
It sounded to me a little while ago you were talking about a being, the ability to live at the soul level and at the soul and at the physicality level and interchange between them freely. And I had kind of assumed up to now, all the teaching you've given us, that we might be able to develop to that stage in our current level of being. I mean, we need to grow, I understand that. But it sounded to me that you were referring to what was necessary is a new being. And maybe in my head, I was thinking the first child that would be developed with the interaction of the souls rather than the interaction of physical intercourse. I'm guessing at that. I don't know, but I am just wondering the ability for us to live at the soul level and the physicality level and interchange that. Is that possible for us in this existence for those of us who are present now?
At this moment of time, no. In the coming time, on the discretion of the one who is in charge, that's their decision. She will decide.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Keshe, I want to thank you very much for being here today. And I want to thank all the participants on the panel for being today and allowing me to make a presentation today. Mark and Peggy, thank everybody for being here. I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to hand it over to you, Mark. And thank you again, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and especially thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe, for all your answers and for your precious time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll be able to help more and be able to teach more. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation today. We must thank Mr. Keshe for all his unforgiving work he's given this planet. Namaste.
We're going to play your message to humanity and then we'll end the meeting. Thank you so much.